Hey guys, how's it going? Marcelo here, and welcome to another Top 5. So with this Top 5 list, it was one I've really been thinking about for a while. It kind of goes hand in hand with the first Top 5 video I ever did, the favorite video game soundtracks list, which will be in the description if you haven't seen it yet. This one is more specific, obviously, since you read the title, and we're going to take things slower and more calm with this list, because these are the top 5 ambient tracks in games that I personally like, and it's pretty interesting. So ambient tracks are just very atmospheric, therapeutic sounding to the ears, and it's just, they're really feel-good tracks. So with that being said, let's get started. Number 5. Okay, number 5 isn't actually from a game, it's from a game console, the GameCube. The GameCube's menu music is very ambient sounding, and you can just leave it there, and sometimes when I'm trying to look for a game to play on the GameCube and I just leave the console on and it's on the, cube menu, it sounds so good. It's just very calm. The tones come in every so often. There's actually a little bit of silence, or not so much as, I'm not sure, I'm trying to remember now if it's like the tone and then there's a little bit of silence and then the other tone, or if it just like goes from tone to tone very like fluently, I guess, seamlessly. But of course, if you didn't know this, one thing that's really cool about, I'm pretty sure everyone knows this, but I'm just gonna say it anyway. The main menu music actually is an Easter egg in and of itself. It's an Easter egg because if you speed up the sound very quickly, it is actually the Famicom disk system's main menu. So that's a pretty neat Easter egg. So the fact that not only is it a nice sounding, really just calm ambient track, but speed it up and it becomes an entirely different, it's a whole other song. So that's pretty cool, and I just love it. I could also, it was really funny because I was trying to decide whether or not to have the GameCube startup music or the PS2 startup music, but the PS2's startup, well, not startup music, but the menu music is what I mean. It's not so much as music on the PS2, it's just like waves crashing. It sounds like that. It sounds like waves on, like a beach or something. It's still very ambient sounding, but it's not really music. Those are just sounds. This is music, and it sounds really good. So that's why it's at number 5. Number 4. Okay, number 4 and the other numbers onward are from games, and this one is the theme that plays in the airport stage from Tekken 4. It has a name, it's up here, I don't remember what it's called. It's otherwise just known as Airport, I guess. So this song is the most upbeat song on this list that you'll hear, but this one just sounds really nice. I really like this track from the entire game. There's other favorite tracks of mine in this game as well, but for the theme of this top 5, this one sounds just very nice. You can, not even fight, or you could be in training mode or something and just not even fight or do anything and just listen to the music, and it sounds really good. So one of the contenders as well for this number was also from Tekken 4. It was going to be the main menu theme, or not the main menu theme, but the character select theme from this game. It does sound more grunge-ish, I guess you could, I don't know how you describe the character select theme from that game, but it sounds really good too. But it's not so much as ambient as I came to really just, realize as I was thinking about whether or not to put that on this list. So I went for this one. It just sounds really good. It sounds really nice. You can probably fall asleep to it. But it's, again, one of the most upbeat tracks from this list. These other ones are way more ambient. So here we go. Number 3. Number 3 is also from a main menu, and it's the main menu to Pac-Man World 3. So Pac-Man World 3 is a funny case, because if you've played Pac-Man World 1 on the PS1 and Pac-Man World 2 on the PS2, those games are very upbeat and happy and uplifting and catchy with their music and all that, because the music matches that tone like to a T. But Pac-Man World 3 comes out, and it's got a darker, more intense atmosphere, and the music matches that as well, to a T. And what you're greeted by when you first boot up the game is this music, and that's all you need. It lets you know, hey, Pac-Man's going to be on a more intense journey, and, you know, everything's just going to be kicked up to 11, pretty much. And it sounds really nice. Now, this is ambient. It sounds real nice, and it's just very calming. And the first time I heard it, I was just like engulfed in it. I was just like, whoa, it sounds vastly different from anything, not even so much as the Pac-Man World games, just any other Pac-Man game that has really nice, upbeat music. And then this comes in and it's like, no, we're gonna go a little more darker, a little more just calm, epic in its own way, and it just sounds really good. So that's why it's at number 3. Number 2. Okay, so number 2, I mentioned this song twice before. Once in my top 10 favorite snow levels list, and my top 5 soundtracks list. Dante's Freezer from Legend of Spyro, Dawn of the Dragon, what? No, New Beginning, sorry. So, it's ambient, but it's way darker. Like, it has this very... this is the 3rd time I've explained this song. If you haven't seen those 2 lists, also link down below to the top 10 snow levels list. What more is there to say about it? It's foreboding, it's dark, but it doesn't go too dark, I guess. It's just more of like, be careful where you step. It's really, really intense. And it's very like, watch out. So, the feel is very just intense. I don't know what else more to say about it. I've already talked about it enough. So, Dante's Freezer is one of my favorite regions in the game. And that's where Spyro's journey like really begins in that game, is on Dante's Freezer, because that's where you realize, oh crap, the enemies are not messing around, this place is crazy, and the music is fucking creepy. So, but in a really kind of good way, I guess. It's really weird to explain it that way, but this song is ambient, but not an uplifting ambient. It's a more darker, foreboding ambient. So that's as much as I can say about that, seeing that this is the 3rd time I've talked about the song, so that's why it's at number 2, because it's just so memorable, and it's just so different from the rest of the game, and that's why it's at number 2. So yeah. And my number 1 ambient video game track is... Okay, now we're at number 1. I wanted to put the entire soundtrack from this game as the number 1, but then I thought, what does the game open with? That. Limbo. The main menu, again, another main menu theme, but the main menu to Limbo is just wow. It is really intense, like I mentioned with Dante's Freezer, and even with Pac-Man World 3, but this main menu, and just the entirety of this soundtrack is just so mysterious, and it's so calm, yet a lot of intense shit happens in this game, and this game is just fucking beautiful. This is art. There are not so many games, there aren't very many games I consider to be art, but like Shadow of the Colossus, I consider art. This game I definitely consider art, just because it's done, everything that can be done right is done right in this game, and the music is just everything atmospheric, it's ambient, it's foreboding, it's uplifting. There's just so much to the soundtrack, and it's so simple. It's like there's no drum beats or like no other like there's not even so much as like instruments to, you know, be like technically there's no real instruments for the soundtrack. It's just like the tones, like there's just like these tones. I don't know how to describe it because I'm not so much of a musician, but it sounds amazing and like wonderful in the most bizarre, eerie, mysterious kind of way. And the reason why I chose the main menu music was because, again, if you've never played Limbo and you're like, well, what's this game? It's a 2D side-scroller. It's going to be a jolly good old time. Let's jump into this, and then boom, first theme. Limbo fades in, the word, you know, the title fades in, and this music plays, and you're like, whoa, alright. This is something I was not prepared for. I thought it was going to be just kind of like a happy mysterious, a happy like, okay, let's do this. No, it's That game is amazing. That game is intense. And the music matches that to boot, but the main menu music is what opens up everything for you and lets you know this is the world you're in. You don't know a damn thing about it. You don't know a damn thing about the character, about the enemies, about anything. All you have to do is explore, and sometimes there's no music, and then when there is music, it's this kind of music, and it's always this. Just calm, no distracting things about the music. It's just there for the atmosphere to add tension where tension's needed, and it's just crazy. It's really crazy, but it's really good. And that's why it's at number 1. So that's it for this top 5 list. What do you think about these tracks? Do you think the same? Do you like ambient music, first off? Because I'm not one to like fall asleep to ambient music, although I could fall asleep to any of these tracks, hands down. If I listen to them with headphones on enough and I'm just crashing, boom, I'm out. But it's not something I listen to directly, but I really have an appreciation for it because sometimes you just need calmness because it can add to either an upbeat, uplifting atmosphere or a really dark one. So it is almost like an all-around kind of genre, you know, per se. So do you guys like ambient music? Do you like this list? Do you think this is a pretty good list? What are your favorite ambient tracks? Let me know in the comments below. And I have another top 5 coming. I teased it already, the anticipated game announcements. That's coming really soon. So that being said, I'm Marcelo. I will see you guys later, and take care.